Bonjour. Hello everyone, my name is Chickadee. I hope you'll enjoy my sharing, my understanding, and the teaching of sharing. I've shared a few stories around respect and around faith. So I want to share a story about sharing. We've always been a sharing people, right from contact. We shared our medicines with the settlers that came. They were sick, and we already saw that they were coming, and we were already prepared. And so when they came, a lot of the settlers were sick, and so we gave them medicine. We shared our medicine, our knowledge of our medicine. And so we've been a sharing people. In our clan systems, we have a role and responsibility. We all have an understanding of our clan systems. And we know what we do to help our community. It's part of the role and responsibility of the clan. And so we share amongst each other. Our communities used to be healthy and thriving. But because of the impact of colonization, of what's happened to us in history, including residential school in the 60s, and, different traumas have occupied us. So we've forgotten our roles and responsibilities in our clans. But like I said, we were a thriving community because everybody knew their roles and responsibilities. The wolf clan knew what to do, the bear clan knew what to do, the fish clan knew what to do, the eagle clan knew what to do. All these clans, they shared their gifts in the community, so our communities were healthy and thriving. If the hunter didn't gather, the medicine people didn't gather, and that's one of the roles of one of the clans, like we all have roles. We're hunter-gatherers, medicine people. And so if they didn't do their work, there'd be a little imbalance in the community. So everybody understood their role and had to share, their gifts with one another. And we all knew, when a child came into this world, that this child was a gift that the Creator was sharing with us. This child was sacred. And so our people, they would share gifts with this child. When this child came into this world, into our community, into our family, this child was loved, was cared for, was groomed. At a very young age, they knew what this child was going to be. And they would have certain people that would guide them, to help them, whether it be a hunter, a gatherer, a seamstress, a medicine person. So this child would be taken care of by certain individuals within the clan to help them nurture their gift, so they'd be able to share it with the people. And so that's why we were so healthy and balanced. But today you see that it's gotten away from that teaching of sharing. There are people who live in that teaching of sharing, but the others have forgotten because of our roles and responsibilities that have been forgotten in our clan system. So you see an imbalance that is happening because we don't know our roles and responsibilities anymore. We don't know how to share our gifts, how to nurture those gifts. In my walk, again, as a mother and a grandmother, I remember teaching my kids how to share. Even there was times they didn't want to share, and I'd say, well, I'm sorry you can't have that item here, whether it was a toy, whether it was food, whether it was something to drink. And they didn't want to share it, then I said, well, take it out of here. If you can't share it, then they can't be in here. And I said, why would you want somebody to watch you eat something or drink something or play with something if you're not going to share? You wouldn't want that to happen to you. You wouldn't want to be that person on the other side, watching them eat something, watching them drink something or play with something. I'm sure you'd want them to share. So I taught him that teaching at a very young age, that this item is to be removed if they can't share. And so my children grew up with that teaching of sharing. There was this time I was in Portage La Prairie at the hospital, and my grandmother was transitioning into the other world. She was passing away. She was on her deathbed. And I know sometimes talk about death, it's morbid, but it's a transition. We go into another world. We know this world, this physical world, but there's also another world we call the spirit world. And we transition into that world. And I know this to be true because I've been visited by my ancestors, my relatives from the other side of that world through dreams. And so we were visiting my grandmother, and she was on her deathbed. And how we come in waves to say our final goodbyes or whatever it is that we want to share with our loved ones. So I was visiting her, and then my mom, she was alive still at that time. So we were visiting, and then she said, I want to go outside and have a cigarette. And I said, okay, well, I'll come right out. And then moments after my mom left to go outside to have a cigarette, my grandmother says, Nagam Chickadee. She said, I sing too. And that really touched me because I myself am a singer, a traditional singer. I sing traditional songs. I carry songs, ceremonial songs, different kinds of songs I carry. So that really touched me. And she was saying that, and she told me, she said, I used to walk to sun dances. I used to go to these places, she said. I never really shared my life and how I lived with my grandmother. That's something that was pretty private to me, and I just lived my life and went to ceremonies. So again, my grandmother touched my heart by sharing that she attended sun dances and ceremonies, and she walked. And so I told her, I said, well, I'm going to go outside for a minute or two, I told her. So I went outside. My mother had just finished smoking her cigarette. And I was out there. And then, I don't know if this was a vision or if this was real. There was an old grandmother standing there. To this day, I don't know. No, but she talked to me. And she said to me, she goes, you're doing a good job. She said, you're doing a good job helping your fellow Anishinabek. She goes, you're doing a good job giving it to them. It's good of you to do that, she said. All the things that you've been gifted, she said, you share with them. Just because that wasn't yours in the first place. She goes, somebody shared it with you. And so it's your responsibility to share with your people. She said, the people. So I thought, okay, so I finished my cigarette. And then I went back into the hospital. I went to my grandmother's room, and So I was talking to my mother, and I said, "Who's that old lady?" She said, "What old lady?" I said, "There was an old grandma out there, an old lady." And who's she? And she said, "I didn't see no old lady. Because there wasn't an old lady out there when I was there." So I was like, "Yeah, there was somebody out there." This old lady talked to me. Said she told me that, that she watches me. And she knows that I'm doing this work for the people, that I'm doing good. I said to her. She's proud of me. I said, "Who is that?" And she said, "There was no one out there. I didn't see anyone out there. I don't know, she must have went out there after I went," she said. But I didn't see her in the hospital, and I didn't see her outside again. So I'm not sure what that was that came to me to help me understand, that gift of sharing. But that's what I do today. However I can help, I'll help. I'll share my knowledge or my medicines or teachings to help, because it's not mine. The knowledge keepers, the grandmothers, grandfathers, the elders, they're the ones who have gifted me their knowledge to help me. So it's my role and responsibility to share that with others. It's such a beautiful teaching, to be able to share and know how to share from your heart and not expect anything back. You share because you have, not that you want something back. I've been gifted many, many items, sacred items. I remember one time we had this feast, and it was for one of deceased friend. Well, actually, he was the father of my son. He passed away. And I remember the knowledge keeper, elder at that time, said, part of the ceremony is to give away. And so I thought, what am I going to give away? He said, whatever you have, whatever you want to gift. He said, don't be stingy, he said. And so I gave away my fans. I had a fan and two of them, and I gave them away. I had an eagle whistle. I had some other items that were sacred and special to me that helped me in my walk. So I remember putting that out and putting it as an offering, as part of my giveaway to give those gifts away in honor of my son's late dad. And I was tearful, like here I'm giving my sacred objects away, my sacred items, and thinking, okay, well, I'm giving the best of what I have, because I love my son, and I loved his father. So I gave that away, and we had our feast, and we had our ceremony. And about 8 or 9 months later, I received 2 gifts. I got 2 fans back. I went back home. I received another one. So in return, I received 3 fans. And I received 2 whistles, amongst other gifts that I had given away. I got more than I gave away. So when you share like that from your heart, not having expectations, mind you, I grieved for a little for them, but I realized it was the best thing that I did. That somebody else could use those gifts too, to help them, because they helped me. And then I did appreciate, the love that I had with my son's dad. And so those gifts I shared with the people, it came back tenfold. And so I really believe that sharing is very important in who we are as Indigenous people. That we give from the heart, that we don't give from, expecting anything back, because if we expect anything back, then we're not giving from our heart. And sometimes we'll be disappointed because we shared something. And some people are not appreciative of those things because they really don't understand the gift of sharing. And they may not share things too because they don't understand that teaching of sharing. But they'll get there. I really believe that, again, by role modeling that sharing, they'll be receiving that gift and knowledge and understanding of sharing. That they too will walk into that teaching of sharing. They'll come to understand it. So even, when people come to our home, right away we offer them something. We want to share our food, our teas, our water, or whatever it is that we have, we want to share. That's part of another story, an Anabushu story. And so, we do that gift of sharing to people who come into our life. People who are coming to their homes. People who want to sit in ceremony, they'll always receive something that one of our elders or knowledge keepers or grandmothers or grandfathers are sharing. So I try to live to the best of my ability to that teaching of sharing. Imagine our world, imagine our communities, our families, if we were to nurture those gifts, if we were to live in those gifts of sharing, and how rich we'd be, not in material items, but rich in our spirit, our emotions, our mind. I really believe that, part of the making of our universe and our world, that was one of the original instructions, was sharing. Those animals shared their lives with us, to make our sacred items like the drum, like the shell, the shishiba, the rattle, like this fan that keeps us honest. All those beings shared something with us so that we can live, coexist with them. Mother Earth continues to share with us. She gives us our food, she grows our food. She gives us the water, she carries that water for us. She's an example of sharing. She nurtures us, sustains us. She's our first mother. So I hope that this teaching will help you understand a little bit how important it is to share our abundance. Even when we don't have a lot, we still share. I want to share a story about my grandfather. I had a dream about him. He said to me, and my grandfather's deceased too, he's on the other side of the spirit world. But in my dream he came, he says, Ashamishin, he said, feed me. He said, I'm hungry. I said, I said, well, what do you want to eat? I said to him. He said, kangaroo soup. And I said, huh? Kangaroo soup? So, he said, I'll pay you. And so I went to my mom, and I was like, I had a strange dream of Grandpa. And then she said to me, what did you dream? And I said, I dreamt he was hungry and he wanted me to feed him, but he wanted to eat kangaroo soup. And he said he'd pay me. And she said, he's still being funny. He's still that joker. I said, he means jumper soup. I said, okay. I said, because I was thinking, how can I get a kangaroo here? In my reserve. That's totally impossible. But I understood now what he meant, the jumper soup. So I prepared a feast for him. And again, we did offerings I did offerings of gifts in honor of my grandfather, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my grandfather. He wouldn't have had my father. And so I honored him, as I was preparing for the gifts, I was thinking, well, what did I give away? So I picked these certain items, and one item I picked was a wallet. And I'll get to that wallet after. But so I'm preparing, and I have a few items that I needed that I didn't have for the feast. And I said, well, I only have $40. What's going to happen? I'm going to need this till Thursday, till my EI comes. I thought, oh, what the heck, I'll just use it because my mom and dad live next door, they'll help me. So I thought, okay, I'll go and spend this money and add on to the feast what I need. So I went and used that money. And so we finished preparing the feast, and I got the gifts together. And as I was putting the gifts, on this altar, this area blanket where I was putting the gifts and food, I heard something in this wallet, and it was a canvas wallet, a beautiful BC artwork on it. And I touched this canvas wallet and made a funny sound. I was like, what's in there? And it was money. So my grandfather was true to his word. He said he would pay me. And I never knew there was money. That wallet stood up there, up in my closet for about a year. So I took that money out, thinking, wow, my grandfather was true to his word. And so we had that feast. And that after we finished the feast and giveaway, my father came to my door. He said, "Can't you not dead that much?" He said, "This old man wants medicine." I said, "I will die on." He said, "He has tobacco for you." So I said, "Okay, Dayan." I said, "I have what he wants." And so this old man came. He had this tobacco wrapped up in cloth, and I took it and I gave him the medicine in exchange, and I put that tobacco on my table. Later on, my brother came and he was saying, "Do you have a smoked chickadee?" And I said, "No, I don't." "Tobacco?" And I said, "Yeah, I do, as a matter of fact." I said, "Hold on." I said, "So I'll go get it." So I went and got it, and I said, he unraveled it, and inside that tobacco was also $20. So again, my grandfather had given me what I had used. And it's just by me sharing some of those gifts, and trusting that dream. And so, my brother is saying, "Give me that money. I'll go buy cigarettes." I said, "No, smoke the tobacco. I have no papers." I said, "Well, who gets that?" So my brother was able to go get the papers for the tobacco. And I took that money and put it alongside the other money that I had received earlier that day. So even, the things that you become attached to, material items, because I had that for a year and I never even used it. And it was my time to share it and gift it to somebody else. And by doing that, my grandfather gifted me back the money by me sharing that gift. So I really believe, that gift of sharing, I believe in our dreams. I believe in the ways that our ancestors tried to communicate and help us. So I'm really grateful to be able to share this story. And that's what helps me, is when somebody else shares. It helps me understand myself and my walk and my journey. So I encourage you to go sit with your elders, your grandmothers, your grandfathers. Ask them a story. Ask them what you want to know. And if they don't know, ask if there's somebody out there that knows. Because one elder, one knowledge keeper, one grandmother and grandfather doesn't carry all the knowledge. All this knowledge is shared amongst each other. And we're like little pieces of the puzzle. So I encourage you to go out there and Find those stories. Ask your elders to share those stories, those teachings. You'll have a greater understanding of yourself. And you walk your journey. There's no coincidence in this life.